Life. Does anybody stop to think about all that a person has lived when they come to celebrate that person's 90th birthday party? This is the seemingly impossible story of how my grandmother met a French sailor, Roger, my grandfather, during World War II. And despite the war, the geographical distance, and the fact that girls at the time didn't just leave their families to go to Europe to marry, they overcame these odds. I'll take you back through time to show how their personal story and world history intersect. The year is 1943. The French sailors aboard the heavy cruiser ship, the Montcalm, find themselves in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for 6 months while they get arms from the United States. My grandfather, Roger Rene Pitot, is among the sailors. They were just arriving from Africa into a cold January Philadelphia day. This cold January day would shape a lifetime.
Well, it was a dance by an insurance company which run these dances for servicemen and women. And I was kind of forced to go by the boss. But anyway, she said, "Look, there's 2 French sailors sitting over there. They don't know what to do. They don't speak the language. So go ask them to dance." So we both went, and I asked him. We spent the rest of the night after the first dance sitting down talking. He whipped out this book he had with English and French words. And then he said, "I'll meet you right here at noon." We walked all up the parkway to the art museum, and we went through that, and then we sat on park benches for a while. And I gave him my address and my phone number and said goodbye.
After 6 months in Philadelphia, Roger would have to return back to France to fight in the D-Day invasion. My grandfather tells of his war experience through his journal. Monday, June 5th, 1944. Last night we made a U-turn towards France. The weather is fair, but the sky is cloudy. What joy for us, the French. What great joy. We pass along the coast of England. The Allied planes fly above us ceaselessly. Tuesday, June 6, 1944. We are very close to France. The Allied planes bombard the coast without stopping. Not a single German plane is there. We have to begin firing at 5:40. The German battery continues to fire above us. They don't know what they have coming to them. The Germans continue firing and bombing very close to us. The American battleship, the USS Arkansas, takes a projectile in its turret, but it ricochets and does not explode. The Allied troops land on shore filled with carriage, but a violent German machine gun fire shoots on them. We open fire on the machine gun turrets after having destroyed the German cannons. We hit our target almost every time. I charge my cannon filled with carriage. I think, here's another one for the Germans each time I reload and fire. The Montcalm opens fire again. According to messages, we are no longer meeting any resistance. The Allied troops disembark ceaselessly on the shores. The Allies have sealed victory. When the war was officially over, and after 2 years of corresponding by letter, my grandmother decided to move to France to marry Roger.
I was there for a month while we were getting ready because the priest at the French church had to have some kind of certificate from my parish church that I went to church, that I was legally Catholic, etc. And then we went to Paris after the wedding for just under a week, I guess it was. It was really nice.
Life was difficult and food was rationed in post-war France.
You got little tickets for each thing. Potatoes, rice, things they grew out there. For a while we weren't talking about coming back here. He had 7 more months to do in the service.
Their first child, Bill, was born, and the two believed that job prospects would be better in the United States and would allow for a better income to raise a family. The two would move back to the United States and establish themselves just outside of Philadelphia at 810 North Olive Street in Media, and would have 11 children, including my mother. Unfortunately, my grandfather passed away at the young age of 49. His life and his spirit live on through his journal, this film, and all of us he left behind. My grandfather's memory also lives on through the Cross of War that he received for his service in the French Navy during World War II. Recently, I've had the opportunity to travel to France. Stepping on French soil has given me a sense of pride for my roots and for my grandfather. It is amazing to think about how this impossible love story happened, despite a world war, miles of separation, and language and cultural barriers. In her 90 years, my grandmother's life reminds us all that everyone's life is full of stories, and it is important to take time to listen to them.